America's mayor turned Trump toady, Rudy Giuliani, has been ordered by a court to give up his valuables to the two election workers that he had defamed. Georgia residents Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss will now apparently be the proud owners of the former Trump attorney's Manhattan penthouse apartment. Not quite, but still. Judge Lewis Lehman of the Federal Court of Manhattan said Giuliani must turn over his interest in the property to the women in 7 days to a receivership, which they will then control. The penthouse apartment will then have its control transferred so that Freeman and Moss will be able to sell it potentially for millions of dollars, because honestly, I couldn't see them wanting to live in it. Imagine having to trying to get out the smell. Okay. Good luck though on the sale. I'm sure someone will buy it, perhaps. Which is probably about worth what, $5 million. So getting closer to that 150 mil, but you're still way off. All right. In addition to the apartment, Giuliani must turn over more than 24 luxury watches, a diamond ring, costume jewelry, a 1980 Mercedes, once owned by movie star Lauren Bacall, and sports memorabilia such as a shirt and a picture signed respectively by Yankees legends Joe DiMaggio and Reggie Jackson, a signed Yankee Stadium picture. Now, one of the watches that he was ordered to give over was apparently given to Giuliani by his grandfather, and he had asked that he be allowed to keep it because of, sentimental value. Sentimental value. Now, Lehman rejected that request, saying Giuliani could have had it exempted if he had proven that it was worth less than $1,000, but he did not do so because it was probably worth more and probably didn't have sentimental value. I mean, maybe it did, or maybe that value is less sentimental and more monetary. Just saying. The judge said, the court does not doubt that certain items may have sentimental value to the defendant, but that does not entitle the defendant to continue enjoyment of the assets to the detriment of the plaintiffs, to whom he owes approximately $150 million. It is, after all, the underlying policy of these New York statutes that no man should be permitted to live at the same time in luxury and in debt. Good rule. Lehman wrote that Freeman and Moss would be allowed to sell off the property and ensure that the liquidation of the transferred assets is accomplished quickly, to make sure that they get what they are owed. Giuliani had actually asked the judge to bar Freeman and Moss from selling any of his assets until his appeal of the judgment is completed. That request was also rejected, saying that Giuliani could have asked a federal court in Washington, D.C., where Freeman and Moss had won their case, to stay any asset sales pending his appeal. But once again, Giuliani had not. So, once again, all of these decisions are a result of Giuliani's own bumbling. Congratulations. So, look, and by the way, speaking of bumbling, right? This case is his own fault. He defamed these workers, spread lies about them that put their lives in danger, even when he was shown evidence that, hey, they were not doing the things that you accused them of doing. Didn't matter how many times they told him, hey, they weren't rigging the vote. They were not doing the things that you were accusing them of. He was like, no, they were totally doing it. They were totally doing it. And I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep talking about it. You know that. I'm not going to stop. Yeah, you can't stop me. All right, well, we're going to sue you. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Self-inflicted, man. That's it. Look, when it comes to this case, being the former mayor of New York does not entitle you to special privileges. At least it shouldn't. Okay? And basically, this makes me think that Rudy vastly overestimated his privilege in all of his asks to the court in dealing with this case. And, of course, his vast obstinance, okay, to all of this stuff. Because I've talked about this case for some time. And at every juncture where he could have done something, could have asked for something from the court, he didn't. So he is lazy and incompetent, okay, and vastly overestimates his own privilege. And that's why he's going to be left with pretty much nothing. He's getting a brutal and well-deserved reality check. All right. And I, of course, cannot leave out the fact that this check came as a result of the actions that Giuliani took in service to one Donald J. Trump, who has so far not received his just desserts for spreading the big lie, which has had the effect of sinking everyone else around him into a black hole of lawsuits and debt, and has led to election workers across the country being threatened, as well as a lot of people now, Republicans, thinking that the system, the election system in this country is rigged. It's not. It's not. There are plenty of things that you could say about our current system in this country that are rigged. The fact that you do have rich and powerful people that, for the most part, escape justice, and except in rare circumstances like this one, when you're too dumb to actually, take advantage of the many advantages being rich all affords you in life. Nonetheless, I mean, most rich people tend to get away almost with murder, okay, in this country, ripping people off. But apparently, one of the things that you cannot do is defame people. Clearly, you can lie about politicians, public figures, right? But when you start going after election workers and putting their lives in danger with just massive lies, and we also learned the lesson with Alex Jones and what he did to the Sandy Hook families, right? When you lie and defame regular, average people who are not public figures, and you say the worst things about them, and you end up sicking your fans on them, you don't have to directly tell them, but you just a crisis actors, that's what they are, or they're stealing the election. That's gonna get crazy people out there to go and make threats, do assault, in more extreme cases, actually cause bodily harm to people as a result of things that are just not true. So that's why Giuliani is facing this. Now, Lehman, getting back to the case here, he hasn't decided yet if Giuliani will be able to keep a Palm Beach, Florida condominium that he also owns, or the 4 New York Yankees World Series rings he has, which Giuliani's son contends that his father gave him. But it seems possible that Freeman and Moss will likely get those things too. Now, finally, they will also be entitled to about $2 million in legal fees that Giuliani has said that the Trump campaign still owes him. I got bad news for the ladies on this one. You're never going to see that money. You know why? Because Donald Trump doesn't pay people. Okay, so I would think that you're just not, you shouldn't count on that one. Sorry. Nonetheless, even without that, you're about to come into some money. Well deserved on all counts. They deserve recompense for what Giuliani and his network of grifters did to them. Okay? Michael Gottlieb, a lawyer for Freeman and Moss, told TNN's Aaron Burnett that the judge's order was necessary and a key step in our client's ability to start to recover some of what has been taken away from them. Today's ruling, I think, is an example of how the justice system, even though it may take some time, and even though it may take resolve and the courage of people like Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss, will hold powerful people to account for these kinds of wrongs. This is a win. But it's only a win against the henchman and not the mastermind. And I hate calling Donald Trump that, okay? Because there ain't nothing master about that mind. But nonetheless, he's the head of it. He was the one who started the big lie because he couldn't handle losing an election. And so all the people around him began to parrot that lie, but it all originated with him. And so far, he has not been held accountable for it. And until he is, I'm afraid stuff like this will continue, and the people around him will continue to be sucked into that giant black hole. and they'll deserve it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.